The story behind the Star-Spangled Banner. Can't wait to get into this, see what the story is behind the Star-Spangled Banner. Before we do get into this, I appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button. Let's just straight into this and see what we got.
Have you ever gone to an athletic event and as someone was singing the national anthem, the people around you were not even paying attention?
Okay.
They didn't have their hand over their heart. They hadn't removed a hat from their head.
Right.
Perhaps they were chatting with a friend and not even looking at the flag, just disengaged and disconnected. In a sense, by their casualness, they weren't just disrespecting the national anthem.
Okay.
They were disrespecting the men and women in the armed forces who have valiantly served our country.
Wow.
Those who've bled and died defending the freedoms of our nation. It is my belief that if you only knew the story behind the Star-Spangled Banner, it would cause you to stand at attention.
Okay.
Almost like a soldier yourself, with reverence and gratitude. You would sing the anthem with all of your heart, and in so doing, you would be telling the world how grateful you are to live in the greatest nation in the world,
wow,
the United States of America.
Yeah, I can imagine those people that are casual, that don't get involved with it, the national anthem, if they watch this video after this, they're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't wait for this, man.
Let me tell you the story behind the Star-Spangled Banner. There was a young lawyer by the name of Francis Scott Key who lived in Baltimore, Maryland in the early 1800s.
Right.
At the time, our nation was engaged in vicious conflict with Britain. After the Revolutionary War, the British had suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of the United States.
Oh.
And up until 1814, they had been on the defensive. But in August 1814, determined not to be embarrassed again, the British saw their opportunity to get on the offensive.
Wait, hold on. Does the national anthem for the United States of America come from defeating Britain? Oh, wow.
They exacted their revenge by capturing our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.,
okay,
chasing President Madison and his wife from the city and burning many of our government buildings. Then the British headed to Baltimore, the nation's third most populated city, to attack a fort called Fort McHenry.
Okay.
Along the way, Britain had accumulated prisoners, and we know that some of the prisoners had been placed aboard those British warships. One of the prisoners was a man named Dr. William Beans. Dr. Beans had many prominent friends and neighbors who enlisted the services of one Francis Scott Key to negotiate with the British for his release.
No way.
Francis Scott Key agreed and arranged to have Colonel John Skinner, American agent for prisoner exchange, accompany him. On the appointed day, the men...
I wonder how they go about freeing themselves when they're prisoners. You gotta have some very interesting friends.
On the appointed day, the men rowed out in a little boat and boarded a British ship to secure the release of Dr. Beans.
Wow.
After nearly a week of negotiations, they were successful. That's the good news. The bad news is that the British decided that they were first going to attack Fort McHenry and that they wouldn't release any prisoner until after the fort had been destroyed.
Right. I'm confused to the laws of war. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you're gonna attack the country, why are you gonna release at any cause prisoners? Do you know what I mean? Because you're already attacking them. You're already at war, right? What's the point of releasing prisoners? I don't know. Maybe one of you guys know why that is. Interesting.
You see, Fort McHenry was a strategically located military base, which was defended by 1,000 men.
Right.
It stood on the end of a peninsula guarding the city of Baltimore. And the British knew that the defeat of Fort McHenry and its 1,000 men would serve as another demoralizing event for the Americans.
Would be impactful.
So the plan of the British war fleet, which included some 16 to 19 warships, was to mercilessly fire their superior weapons and completely annihilate Fort McHenry.
Oh.
Then the British could send in its lighter ships up into the harbor and begin to bombard the rest of Baltimore. This is a critical moment in the history of our young nation, For even though we had become a sovereign nation in 1776, the United States was still fighting for total independence from the British,
Right.
due to Britain's interference in our expansion, trade, and other freedoms. On September 13, 1814, as morning dawned and as the haze hung over the ocean, the British war fleet was unleashed.
Uh-oh.
Boom, 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 boom. For 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours.
Wow.
Boom, boom, the guns raged. The sound must have been deafening. Boom, boom, boom for 12 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, for 24 hours. The British war fleet pounded Fort McHenry relentlessly with no relief in sight. The Americans inside Fort McHenry...
Yo, there's no way that they survived, bro. If they was just on the outskirts, just firing, like, I'm guessing cannons and everything at them, bro, and then, like, a secluded place, yo, for hours on end, bro, that's brutal.
Relentlessly with no relief in sight. The Americans inside Fort McHenry were unable to respond.
Wow.
Because their guns were not as powerful as the British artillery.
Sitting ducks.
Witnessing the bombardment, it must have looked like a spectacular fireworks display. Francis Scott Key, he paced the ship all night long, back and forth. At times, he could see the American flag in the illuminated red glare of each bomb.
Wow.
No doubt if he had seen a white flag waving, he would have known that the Americans were surrendering. But as long as he could see the red, white, and blue flag waving, he knew that the men inside that fort were not giving up.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, I'm guessing they're outnumbered, they're outgunned, they're being just bombed, right, from the cannons, I'm guessing. And they're just not going to give up. Bro, they're going to start attacking the flag or something, man.
Don't you believe that there had to be some prisoners on board some of those warships who were wondering, is the flag still there? Is the flag still there? Is the flag still there? Because you see, that flag stood for the United States of America.
Wow.
It was that flag that stood for the freedoms that our nation cherishes today.
Yo, this is giving me goosebumps. I can't imagine how you guys feel being Americans, you know what I'm saying? I'm British, and it's Britain attacking them, and it's giving me goosebumps. The fact of, like, how we're saying the Americans on the boat or hoping the flag's still up, bro. And I'm hoping the Americans are surviving in the fort. Wow, man.
It was that flag that stood for the men and women who died to give us our independence.
Wow.
Well, after more than 24 hours of constant bombardment, finally, there was silence. And as morning dawned on September 14th, 1814,
oh no,
when the heavy mist and the smoke from the gunfire had lifted, there, standing proudly, flying high above the rampart,
no
blowing
way,
back and forth in the wind.
That must have really annoyed the British, dude. The fact after bombing it for 24 hours, the flag is still up. Wow, impressive.
Was the huge 30-foot by 42-foot American flag. Major George Armistead, the commander of Fort McHenry, had commissioned a widow to make this flag. He wanted it to be so large that the British wouldn't have any trouble seeing it from the distance,
wow, that's
waving proudly. Miraculously, the damage to the fort was minimal. Of the 1,000 soldiers, 4 were killed.
Oh, the British suck. Yo, hey, good job. Bro, listen, I know I'm British, bro, but, you know, this is a story of history, man. At times was different back then. But, bro, this small fort here, and I'm guessing it was on the coastline here with the war, constantly bombing up. Bro, I thought their weaponry was much better than that, dude. Holy. Hey, good job.
Of the 1,000 soldiers, 4 were killed. The United States did not yield.
Wow.
And the British eventually withdrew from the Baltimore harbor, deeming the battle to be too costly.
They lost.
The tide of the war was reversed. There at the Battle of Fort McHenry, just a few months later, a peace treaty was signed between the United States and Britain.
Oh, wow.
It was upon the release of the prisoners that Francis Scott Key made his way back into Baltimore. And after such a dramatic and
You reckon after the British fighting them there, they was like, yo, this is going to be tougher than what it's going to be, man. And let's just sign the peace treaty.
he made his way back into Baltimore. And after such a dramatic and emotional occasion, the young lawyer was inspired to pen the following words. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Wow.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow.
It is my prayer.
Yo, imagine being in that fort and you're just getting weapons shot at you for 24 hours, bro. Keeping your flag high. I actually really like how there's such like a important story to your national anthem. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like for the UK national anthem, I don't think there's any story tied to it. It's just, you know, God save our, you know what I mean? I like that, man.
Free and the home of the brave.
Wow.
It is my prayer that whenever we see the flag, which represents the United States of America,
There's hope.
and whenever we hear the words of the Star-Spangled Banner as it is sung, that we would stand in reverence for the miraculous events of that night in 1814, to honor the courageous men and women who have fought to keep our flag waving.
Wow.
May we always stand. May we always remove our hats. May we always place our hand over our hearts. And may we always sing with all of our heart as we give honor and respect to the flag and to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice.
There's just so much meaning to it. And you can relate to it in so many ways. Bro, I feel like after watching this, bro, I've got some sort of meaning to it. And I'm not even American, dude. I'm British. For you guys. Wow, man. Beautiful.
For this great nation of ours, the United States of America.
Beautiful, man. Actually beautiful. As long as the flag's still up and waving, there's hope, man. You know what? I actually wish I could look at my own flag with some sort of meaning. But honestly, I don't have any meaning when I look at the UK flag. I really don't. Wow. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God, indivisible. Indivisible. I don't know what that means. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wait, have I just pledged to America? Oh, yo. Wait, I don't mind that, bro. You know what? Hey, screw it, bro. If there's ever a war, I'm on your guys' side. I don't mind that, dude. Wow, they're beautiful. Honestly, I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about that in the comment section. Really cool story and important story. Beautiful, man. Hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/L3WG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.